a number of things that I've heard from people in the Pentagon, that the buzzword in the secret of secrets in the Pentagon is the Sumerian gods are returning, and that's what they're referring to as that whole area that Peter's.
Wow.
Can you repeat that again, just in case anybody missed it? The buzzword
in the Pentagon, in the military circles that are in the know about the cover-up here, they kind of, in whispered tones, talk about the return of the Sumerian gods. And they're talking about the what we would call aliens or fallen angels returning into the Middle East, into Old Sumer area.
The Anunnaki.
They claim they found the tomb of Osiris. A crystal city has arisen out of the Grand Canyon. In the Congo, they found vibranium. There are currently 6 planetary bodies in the skies that our government is hiding from us. Planet Xylanthia, also known as Planet X, will soon make its appearance. A plane was attacked by a cloud. A UFO was spotted on the border of Mexico. Inky is here in the flesh. The Animus, also known as the extraterrestrial AI, is here. A white portal was spotted over Tennessee. Arctic temperatures has hit North America. Inflation is high everywhere. Did the Earth's core really stop spinning? You heard my 2023 predictions, but are you ready for my 2023 premonitions?
The hydrogen is coming back into the atmosphere. Nibiru is here. All right.
Hillary Clinton even said it.
The hydrogen is coming back into the atmosphere. That red sky that everybody was seeing in California when the sky was red.
No problem. No problem, Gotti.
And they tried to lie on the news and make it sound like it was coming from the fires. No, the fires was real. That was Nibiru. The closer, Nibiru is a sun, a planet, and a spaceship all in one. So the closer it gets into our atmosphere, the bigger it's going to appear. Right? Like right now, people are already seeing this second sun, which they don't know is really a spaceship and a planet and a sun all in one. All right? Because this is how advanced technology is in the cosmos. All right? So as they get closer into the atmosphere, it sucks out this oxygen that was forced into our atmosphere. And it starts pumping the red iron oxide.
It's time, Israel. There's your sign right there. Right there in the sky. 2 rogue planets.
غريب. شكل صخرة في الهواء. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
2 moons.
Look at that.
These people are catching it on their cell phones.
Oh my God.
Everybody can't be getting the same picture.
You see, it's like, and there are 2, right?
Yeah.
It's right in the cell phone. Look at the cell phone.
Wow.
So Israel, let me tell you, it's time. Right there, look at that. Never, ever seen something like that. Ever. Come on, and who would fake that right there? And why would they all be the same? How can they catch it in their cameras? Why would they go to this extent to show you something in the sky? Why would it be all these people in on some elaborate hoax? Why would they decide to design the planet like that? Come on, man. If this is an elaborate hoax, all of them people need to be kicked in the ass, man, because that shit looks real. I'm talking about, do you know how much editing it would take to do some shit like that? a lot of editing to put all these angles and everything else, and these people are catching it in the phone. I'm telling you, man. Damn, time is up. Get ready for your economic collapse. Get ready for your war. Get ready for mayhem. Get ready for anarchy. Get ready for them meteorites, because when I dreamed them planets showed up in the sky like that, meteorites were next. Come on, Israel, let's get it all together, man, before it is too late. You need to just do what you need to do. Repent, turn back to God, stop worshiping idol God Jesus, or you will burn in hell. This is Rap the News.
It ain't gonna go like that. The Anunnaki are here. The Galactic Confederation is here. Majority of the spaceships that y'all see that people report, that's the Galactic Confederation. That ain't even the Anunnaki. That ain't even that's just the Galactic Confederation. Wait till the Lyras come through. Wait till the blue aliens come from under the ground. Wait till you get the Anunnaki. See, we would be like half-blood Anunnaki. We've been here a little bit. No, wait till you see these pure-blooded Anunnaki. Look just like me and you. They're going to be luminous, though, glowing. 100 feet tall. Physique's chiseled. You think I'm cut? Nah, you ain't seen cut. Wait till you see your ancestors. They here. Do not let this go over y'all head.
Hey, y'all. My smart, good people. This video is for y'all. This video ain't for everybody. It's for y'all. The ones who are just now finding out that that hell and heaven are really Earth and this new star system that just came in over the last 10 years has been settling in with us. And you guys know who I'm talking about. Everybody else who, all the, conspiracy theorists and all that crap, I don't really get into all of that. I only speak about what I've seen with my own eyes and what I know. So I'm going to talk about what I've seen and what I know. And this is, like I say, only for the people who've seen and know what's going on right along with me. That talk that, that know what's going on. Anyway, the rest of y'all can go ahead and bounce. Yikes. Okay. For y'all that do know what's going on, yeah, there is another solar system that came into our solar system and it's been settling here. And it always comes and always leaves, right? Every 3,600 years, it comes back to settle in with us, right? It passes through, then it goes back out in an elliptical orbit, right? Like a stretched rubber band. It don't circle our sun like our planets, right? It goes out like a stretched rubber band and it comes back in like that. Every 3,600 years, right? We all know that's where Jesus and God is. They're on that on those planets. They call it the kingdom come. When the kingdom come, well, they say watch the skies for the new kingdom. Well, it's been here. That's what we've been seeing in the sky lately. All these different planets and suns. So Enki and Enlil, which are Jesus and the devil. Enki is our boy, the one that was getting Enlil off our butts when Enlil was killing us for being too noisy and being too rough with us because he just didn't like us. Enki was the one who told him, go across, start another civilization. Let me deal with the humans. You're just too rough on them. And he left, which is the devil. Basically, Enlil was mad at Enki because Enki told us that we could be like them, if not greater. We had the potential to be that way. Enlil didn't like that. So him and his brother would always clash and fight over all kinds of stuff. And that was one of the main reasons they always fought. Well, Enlil was telling us, don't listen to my brother, listen to me. Because he wanted to keep us, dormant and down. He didn't want us to tap into no true potential of ours to where, Enki wanted us to pretty much surprise them when they came back and marvel at what they started. Originally they say we were put here to mine gold for them. So when they came back every 3,600 years, we'd have piles and piles of gold waiting for them to repair their planet. Because, y'all know how they say their planet's atmosphere was ripping. It had a hole in it and it was letting a lot of radiation into their planet. So they needed gold that they could spew out throughout their skies to block that hole and reflect that stuff back out. For a while they was getting it. Now, what happened to that planet? Because they say now, if you look at it, it's just a big giant ball of red that they can move around at will now. It's no longer beautiful anymore. it changed so drastically that it's sad that you would want to cry if you saw the difference. It used to have all kinds of beautiful colors and stuff on it. And now it's just one big rusty ball in the sky. So I'm kind of thinking they lost that war against that radiation. Well, anyway, that sun, which is our sun's twin, they call it Nemesis or Wormwood in the Bible. It always had 5 planets rotating around it, and 2 of them had a couple of moons around them. Our ancestors lived on one of those planets, and still obviously do. If we're seeing them in our skies, and their planets are by ours, that means that they're visiting us again. They can only visit when they come close. Why would they want to visit us when they're way out there in their route, way out there in the unknown, which they call far, far out? They call that planet when it's way out there, far, far out. They won't want to come from that distance to visit us. They only want to come visit us once it's close to us, to see how we've evolved and what we have for them. Well, anyway, this is all the same story as in the Bible. What happened in the Garden of Eve when they told us, when one was saying don't bite the apple and the other one was saying do bite the apple? Don't that sound like Enki and Enlil? If you bite the apple, you'll be like the gods. You'll wake up. You'll know that you're naked and basically all that stuff. Don't that sound like the same thing as Enki and Enlil? Stop telling them that they're great. You don't want them to know that. And the other one was saying no, go ahead and do it. Well, anyway, it sounds like they have the serpent as our boy, Enki, the one that was trying to get us to wake up and be great. And Enlil is supposed to be like the good guy in the Bible who didn't want us to bite the apple because he didn't want us to be great. So they see how they flipped it around. They got us going against our boy in the Bible and with the bad guy in the Bible. That's where I'm gonna leave that. Y'all go ahead and dig into that deeper if y'all want to. I want to get more on the technicalities of this thing when it's coming in and what it's going to do to us. Earth. And everybody, involved in it. Everybody's going to be part of this story. It's a one-time story. It'll never happen again in the history of the universe. This is our story, y'all, of the humans. Where some will end and some will, it'll just be another chapter.
Can somebody explain this shit to
It
me?
almost makes me emotional and tear up to think about this. But anyway, this ball out in the sky that we keep seeing, this pretty ball, is like a pinkish red, beautiful color.
What the fuck is
That's
that?
the new earth they call heaven, where everything will be just right. Everything will be perfect. No sickness, no nothing. Right? That's where some of us will be going when they come pick us up. And we're going to be basically turning around and watching Earth burn like an oven, bake like an oven is what this star going to do to Earth. They call it Nemesis, Wormwood, all that stuff. Nibiru is a planet that rotates around the destroyer, Wormwood.
July 7th,
It's a planet that rotates around. It's just one of them.
7:47 p.m.
And we'll be on another planet, the new Earth, watching the show go down. Basically, a lot of our ancestors, relatives, people that we know, people that we don't know, will be baking on this Earth, while the lucky ones who get to go to the other planet just get to sit there and watch it happen. Everything is going to be destroyed from this thing. Let me start getting down to the scary parts of this thing and what it's really going to do. Some of y'all shouldn't be scared because it's not here to destroy y'all. Others, get your stuff together.
But I wanted to share this photo that was sent in here.
When this thing come in, it's going to erase any trace of humans ever even being on this planet. That's how bad it's going to be. They say the foundations of the mountains won't even be able to be found when this thing hit. Well, anyway, when it comes in, you'll probably get have a half an hour or so before the actual worst start to happen, and you'll see it all start to come. It'll just pop up on you like it'll be 1/3 of our skies. It'll be just hell. 1/3 of our sky is just red. Like there'll be no denying what it is. People won't even have time to think or go back or think about what's going on and what they should do now. And it won't be no time for none of that. All they're gonna be thinking about at that point is survival. Not even calling people. They're gonna be literally thinking about survival. Like where can I go right now? That's all they're gonna be thinking. And they're gonna find out there'll be nowhere that you can go. You can't run underground from this thing like them cities they building to try to get away from this thing that they've been monitoring since the 70s, got over 100 satellites, been watching it since the 70s, and ain't telling nobody about it. That's why I hope y'all get what y'all deserve. Why would y'all, even if we ain't all invited to y'all cities, why would y'all still not tell us so we could probably try to prepare for it, right? Well, you know what? I found out. I don't need to worry.
Explain this shit to me?
I don't need to worry. Anyway, that's y'all punishment. That's why in the Bible it's telling us to come out of her. Come out of Babylon, which is the new America, so the new Egypt. Come out of her so we don't suffer in her sins with her. We're supposed to be going to a desolate place somewhere in the mountains, in the desert somewhere or something like that. We're still going to suffer if we stay here. But it's going to target cities and sins and structures and things like that with radiation. So anyway, when it comes in, the first thing that's going to happen is
the sun is over there setting. What the fuck is that?
It's going to be flooded. Worse than Katrina, worse than any flood you could possibly have imagined in the past. It's going to be horrible. The waters are going to keep flooding the earth as we tidal lock and stop spinning. Water don't stop spinning with the earth. It stops spinning at its own speed. Earth is solid, the water ain't.
What the fuck is that?
Secondly, if you survive that, you still have to worry about horrible, horrible, horrible earthquakes, which you cannot escape no matter on earth where you go. You can't escape. There's no such thing as escaping an earthquake if you're on earth. This is a literal earthquake. The real definition of an earthquake is going to shake so violently, like I said, the mountains will quake and fall into the ground. Like there'll be no trace of a mountain. You won't even know where the mountains was when this thing is done. It's going to shake Earth's butt up like it's twerking. No matter where you go. And the worst place you want to be at that time is in a bunker. Because now you're going to be down there roasting and shaking so bad you won't even be able to run for the door if you tried to. You'll be shaking, probably end up getting swallowed, and you and your structure probably end up being swallowed somewhere. Your bunker or whatever you're in, probably end up being swallowed in the earth somewhere. You'll be down there stuck, baking alive, or stuck to your limited supplies once they run out. And there'll be no way out of this thing, out of wherever you go. And that's if you survive the earthquake. If you do, like I said, there's other things that'll be happening. Every natural disaster at the same time will be happening. But none of that is the worst part. The worst part is you take your choice of these next two things. Because either one could be the worst thing ever. There's a 1,000,000 miles of retail behind this thing. They call it the dragon in the Bible, and the Egyptians and all them people call it the dragon. It's literally the reason all humanities keep getting killed off and having to start over. That's why we can never advance, because this thing comes back every 3,600 years to do its worst. So people who live on other planets, other beings, they get to keep advancing. And meanwhile, we don't. We have to keep starting over from rocks and fire and figuring it all out again, because this thing, when it comes in, it strips your memory. It makes you forget. It knocks everything down to where there's nothing left for us. So when it comes in, it's going to bombard us one time with rocks, hot lava rocks. It's going to bombard us to shit. Like there'll be nothing left. And then when they check the trajectory of Earth, we're going to actually go through the tail again before it leaves out of here. So we're going to get hit twice with the debris. Twice this time. I don't know how many times we got hit in the past with it, but this time around, it'll be twice. So, like I said, there'll be nothing left. Nothing left. If anybody should happen to be lucky enough to survive that, who ain't on that other planet crying, watching it happen, guess what? Earth is going to bake like a oven while this is all going on. That's why they say you don't want to be here when this thing gets here, because it's called going to hell. Only, of course, it's coming to us. But you don't want to be here when the thing gets here. You want to get right with God so you can leave with Jesus, which is Enki, his son. You want to get right so you can leave with him before this thing gets here. Because if not, you will be in hell. The whole earth is going to bake like an oven. And the worst part of the earth, which is the actual part that's going to be facing it when it actually gets to its closest point, is going to singe. Like if you would drop meat on a grill for a short amount of time, pick it back up and see how it got burnt, that part facing it will be singed. That's how hot it will be on that part. The whole earth will be baking like an oven, though. There'll be no fresh water, and any water left will be radiated. It's going to be horrible here. The worst time in human history. There'll never be nothing else close to it again. Okay? So you got to deal with those two things.
Can somebody explain this shit to me?
And then when it goes back out,
there's something going on over
guess
here,
what?
Right?
If there's anything surviving here, one lucky little fish, one lucky little anything surviving here, that'll be walking over all the skeletons laying everywhere and the bodies and stuff all over everything. Your fate is only limited here because it'll be back in 3,600 years to give us another dose. His brother is the blue kachina, which sits on the other side of the pole. They always sit opposite from each other. That's the one that caused the flood, the blue kachina, which is the one that raised the waters. The red kachina, which God said he'll destroy Earth with fire this time, that's planet Wormwood, planet Wormwood. Not planet Wormwood, the star Wormwood. It's a failed dwarf star that sits dormant. It ain't hot. It's hot, but it ain't flaring fire. It ain't flaring fire just as it sits out in cold space like that. It starts to flare up the closer it gets back to its sister, our sun. I saw it in 2013. Down, if sun was here, it would be down and to the left. It was back further, you could tell. But it was way more violent than our sun. I told my son's mom, if that was our sun, that'd be our worst enemy. And I went and did my research and found out that thing is coming here. It's part of our history. It's called wormwood in the Bible. Nemesis, the destroyer, whatever. It's a lot of names for the dragon, whatever. It's coming here. It's our worst enemy. And I'm just horrified about what's going on. And anybody who gets left behind with this thing, I'm horrified for them. There'll be nothing they can do. Nothing. And people was thinking I was crazy because I told them I saw two suns in the sky. And they're not man enough to call and say, you know what, I was bugging. I told everybody he was crazy. Let me call him and clear that up. He didn't lose his mind. He ain't crazy or nothing like that. Yeah, I saw it the other day. You know, so it'll be a point where that will happen, and I won't get no phone calls. They'll just leave my reputation out there destroyed, you know, and not even be a man enough to give me a phone call and say my bad. Why would I make up something as boring as another sun in the sky? What would I get out of that? What with all them hundreds of videos of people from YouTube posting that? What would they get out of faking something like that and doing some CGI trick or whatever? I don't even know how to do CGI. And I recorded it with my phone. And people still talking about, oh, you sure it wasn't the moon or this and that? Come on now. Like, I don't know a source of fire when I see one. Our sun was sitting right here, and there was another ball back in space, caught like that. This side was small. The fire was shooting out kind of like a V, real violent on just this side that day. Real violent, like a torch being cut on and off. It was horrible. I was like, man, that thing. I don't think it's as big as our sun, but it's way worse than our sun. It was just throwing fire out like that, like.
Over here, right? But the sun is over here setting right now. The sun is over here setting.
It just kept throwing fire out one side like that day. And the horrible thing about it is, if I saw it in 2013 with my own eyes, you mean to tell me the government don't know about this? All these people posting it on videos on YouTube, and the government still don't know y'all? Why do y'all need the government to tell y'all about something to finally start preparing to get right with God or whatever?
We're going to have to get rid of is fear.
What the fuck is that?
See, we are getting ready. We're in the middle of it now. It's happening now. We are moving into a new dimension. The entire world is shifting into a new dimension, a new frequency. I think I've talked before to either here or in other groups about their dimensions all around us. We just can't see them. They're all vibrating at different frequencies. It's rather like if you saw a propeller blade or a fan blade. When it speeds up, it becomes invisible. It's still there, but it becomes invisible because it's vibrating at a different frequencies. The ETs know this because this is the way they travel. They travel from dimension to dimension by raising and lowering their dimensions. This is why they can disappear when somebody's watching a UFO and suddenly disappears into the other dimension. And then other times it'll just reappear suddenly into this dimension. That's because they're raising and lowering the vibrations of the craft to enter and go out. This is the way they travel. Okay, now the world is changing its frequency and its vibration. It's already doing it. You know things are speeding up. Everybody knows that. Time is speeding up. Everything is speeding up. And the earth itself has a tone. I've heard this tone. It's recorded from satellites in space. The earth has a tone, a frequency. That tone has changed and it is speeded up. Scientists know this. It's very definite. That this is definitely have proof that it's changing. The frequencies and vibrations of the earth are changing. As I said a while ago about dimensions, we're getting ready to shift into a totally new dimension. We have to. The earth has got to the point where they can't do anything else to help it. We're just destroying so much here that it's going to have to be a separation to move into the new frequency. And they said the entire universe is watching. This is the greatest show on earth because it has never happened in the history of the universes before that an entire planet will make the shift at one time. Now, you know in the Bible it always talks about the new heaven and the new earth. I believe John of Pathos, when he had that vision, he was seeing a real vision. He didn't realize it was going to be thousands of years in the future. This is what he meant by the new heaven and the new earth, and the old is done away with, and the new is going to be taking over. But it is changing, the frequencies are changing, we're shifting already. You can feel it in your own bodies. I don't know if you felt it yet or not. A lot of people are having physical ailments. They're going to the doctors can't find anything wrong with them because it's not anything that they've ever experienced before. They have said the doctors are using the old information that they have been taught. They are not aware of what is really happening to the bodies now. Our DNA is being changed, the vibration rate is being changed, and we are shifting with the planet. We have to. It can't happen suddenly because the body wouldn't be able to handle it. It has to happen gradually, little at a time. And when it makes these little jumps, people are experiencing physical problems. They can be heart palpitations, blood pressure, tiredness, dizziness, muscle aches and pains, lots of different things that I've heard, but when they go to the doctor, they can't find anything wrong because it's nothing physical that they can put their finger on. But our DNA is being changed, and the ETs have been helping a lot with this. We're going to be at the point where we're not going to be sick anymore, and we will be at the point where we will never die. We are actually moving into what is called the 1,000 years of peace in the Bible. The whole earth is going to be totally different, and there's going to be many left behind, just like the Bible says, many are left behind, because they can't change their frequency and vibration quick enough to move with it. They have to be working on it now, or you're not going to move. You'll be stuck with the old earth. The ones that are deep into the negativity, they said they will be allowed to live out their lives on the old earth. But when they die, they will not come back to the new earth because the new earth will have no negativity. They will be sent to another planet that is still experiencing negativity so they can work it out. Some of them, there's just no hope for them because it's gone too far. They're too loaded down, steeped.
Gonna keep you away
You
from
guys
the
told me
information.
that this pole shift will
Listen to
probably
this.
happen from start to finish in around 28 minutes. That doesn't give you a lot of warning. When you see that thing out there in the sky, you're going to have to run as fast as you can to your underground facility because this is going to happen so fast. Now, see, here's another thing nobody's talking about. You've got this giant iron planet that they say is 47,000 miles across, getting ready to come up past us. And when it starts to approach us, it's going to start and have real serious effect. Stuff. And so, you know, and it does sound reasonable to me, knowing what I do about electromagnetic energy, that this could happen. And it very easily could gut everybody's brain for everything they ever knew, and they'll stand there and pee in their pants and go, gee, what was that? And that's if they still know how to talk. And there won't be any doubt in anybody's mind because this thing's going to look like a big red dragon, exactly like all the ancient Sumerians and the Chinese and all the rest of them that had documented this thing's passing before. It didn't look like a white ball or a snow cloud or nothing. It looked like a big red iron oxide dust cloud with a superheated star in the middle of it. And I mean, you know, and that's what we've seen. So, you know, I don't care what anybody else says. There's a possibility. There's more than one thing out there. You know, I watched it through the Hubble Space Telescope, and when this thing looked like it was across the street, the Hubble got cut off and they encrypted it, and that was the end of any transmissions we had to watch. And we know that the Hubble, in order to be in the shadow of the Earth, had to be at an angle, and so that meant it was looking downward, and this thing was coming up underneath of us, and I tell you the honest to God truth, I personally think this thing is real close to us right now, but, you know, that's just my general feeling that, you know, and I'm a pretty psychic guy, I have the feeling that this thing is right close by and that we're going to see it any time. I mean, I've been doing everything I could do to get prepared for it to... I'm really worried about what Jesus says. You know, when the fig tree is putting on its leaves, know that summer is near, and I'm at your door. And that worries me.
Have you Rapper News?
Yeah, listen, y'all.
And this is the destroyer
they say that
on the
there'll be
horizon,
trumpets
pulsating
in
the morning skies before
what
the
that
sunrise.
is this planet entering our
destroyer
atmosphere.
under a filter
There
in
are
the
two
dust
suns,
cloud that we
God's
call
sun.
the dragon's lair.
The second coming,
this is the
the
sun
two suns,
now rising.
that second sun is God's
and in
sun
comparison
coming
to
in
the
to
light
destroy,
that's
like they say in the
flashing
Bible.
above it,
Well, this thing,
it is
when
a
they say
pea
they'll sound the
and a pod.
trumpet, what
This
you're going to
is
be hearing is this
under
thing
a
entering our
blue
atmosphere
filter.
and roaring like a
Again,
lion. That's what
folks,
y'all are going to hear.
As we
I don't know
witness this,
if y'all ever
and
heard
we put
it, in
another
real life,
filter
like
on it, bam,
rusty metal sound in the
you can
skies,
see
roaring
the
and
big
real
red
loud.
planet
People asking, what is that?
behind
And everybody getting
the
quiet and just
sun.
listening to this loud
And
roar in the
people
sky.
call that
It sound horrible,
a
like
sun halo,
rusty steel
but it is
bending or
not. It is
something
the
blowing
planet.
real hard
Here
in
it
our
is
atmosphere,
again.
like a loud scream.
That
or
is
roar or
a
something.
planet
Well, those are
behind the
miniature
sun.
compared to
It
what's
has
going to
its
happen when this
own
thing
light
actually gets
source,
close and enters our
unlike the
atmosphere.
sun.
And that's
Here
what
it
they call
is
the
at night
trumpets.
on the
When
horizon.
you hear those, know
You
that
are
time is
witnessing
up.
hell
And
burning in the sky.
has arisen.
This is your global warming, folks.
It's over
This
after that.
is where
The
they
Great
blaming
Tribulation,
this
the show
on
is
carbon emissions. No,
That's what the trumpets are.
this is because
The bowls have already been
of
poured out.
sin,
Y'all ain't noticed that?
and this is
When
the
you bring these
Gentile
rivers dry,
destroyer
like they say.
on the horizon, ready to
What
turn
in
this
the Bible
planet to
didn't
shreds. Look at the
Dead Sea
moon
is
and look
filled
at the
up with fresh
rays
water
from
that
this
springs
planet.
shooting out the sides of the mountains, filling back
In
up. There's
comparison to the
fresh
rays
water
on this
swimming around
planet,
in pockets of the Dead
the
Sea. And they all see that.
moon looked like an ink
All we're
drop.
waiting for is the fig tree.
Here go the moon again. Look at the sun rays
That's it.
from the
Everything
destroyer,
else is already
and look at the
fulfilled
moon out there,
What has
looking
to
like
fulfill
nothing
itself inside the
in
tribulation?
comparison. This thing
knocking at the
is
door. We're already here.
tremendous, folks, and it is right
already
there
here.
on the horizon, ready to make this
you will
place
hear the trumpets
garbage.
no matter where you are.
Here it is.
Those roars
Right
that I
here.
heard in the sky,
I'm
that
gonna show
everybody
you
hears in the sky,
it passing,
those are loud.
and they
That's why
calling
you
this
can't
an
hear those.
eclipse.
Those are miniature,
Look
like
at the
I said.
shadow
When the
passing.
actual last
It knocked
trumpet
out
gets
the
sounded,
sun,
you'll know.
and as it passed,
Everybody will know.
the
You hear
sun
it at the
came
same
back
time, you'll
on.
see
We're gonna play that
the
again
big
without
mountain
the
that gets
red
thrown into the sea. That radiates
circle.
all of the water. And
So here it is again. Watch the shadow at the bottom of the sea line move up, which is the destroyer. And as it passes the sun, look how big this planet is. The sun lights back up. You've been lied to about eclipses and everything else. You've been lied to about everything in your whole entire life. Here's the planet again flashing in the daylight skies, folks. And under a filter, you see the sun out there. And here it is again. The sun is rising, folks, from under the dragon's lair cloud. And above that is the destroyer. And then we see it under a blue filter. When this planet arrives, nothing can survive. It will suck the oxygen out of the air and cause earthquakes and shake everybody hidden underground. Repent. This is
the river dry up, or you think God did it? Nobody never said God was going to do it. For whatever reason, at that time the river was dried up. Right now, I don't care if somebody did it because the Bible said it was going to happen, just to try to scare somebody. It don't matter why they did it. At this time, the river would be dried up for whatever reason. That's what John saw. He was just recording what he saw. So that's what's happening. It don't matter if God did or didn't make the river dry up. He said it would be dried up at that time so that the kings from the east could cross over and prepare for the war, for the fight. There will be wars, famine, pestilence. Everything will be going on at once. And they will be going to war. And in the middle of the war, this thing would come in and they will turn their arrows from each other and shoot them into the sky at it, God's son. They will shoot their missiles. They will, in the middle of war, they will turn their missiles off of each other and shoot them at God's son. And he will throw them arrows back down with blood on them to make people here on earth that's shooting at him think that they're doing something. He's going to trick them and make them think they're doing something. All that means is, like right now, we're in the middle of wars. Not literally doesn't mean that the rockets have to be flying at that moment, but we're in the middle of the war. The stage is set. So when this thing come in, because I'm pretty sure nations got their missiles on high alert and aiming at each other right now, waiting. So all now we need set is for this thing to come in. And everybody's going to work together and turn their missiles at it and start to fire at it to try to save the planet. That's all that's left. The war is already set. Everything else is already set. If you read the Bible and you had to stop after what's going on current, that's what